It is February 12th of the year 2021. And I thought, A, it's been way too long since I've done this. And B, today might be a good opportunity, since campus is closed and I'm an idiot and showed up anyway, to address a question that one of my colleagues at Yellow Farm to Fork asked me the other week. So, this little spot that we're walking through, it's only a quarter acre. And it's been in the ground for 4 months now, and it's produced about 1,000 pounds of food, which is pretty cool. So they've been helping me get a lot of it out of campus. We only have so many students here at a time, and a lot more vegetables than they can possibly eat. So a lot of that produce has been going to Woodland Joint Unified Schools. And while we were packing up one day, my colleague asked me, so how do you manage this? You do it all organically, right? And I understand the question. No shade. Absolutely no shade. But there are just certain obstacles in my way right now, including a knowledge base that tells me that organic isn't always sustainable. So the system that we're standing in historically was farmland, and when the farmer realized he was going to be selling to a college, decided to forego all the sustainable procedures of crop rotation, of soil conditioning and renewal and care, and essentially just let it go to shit, which is understandable because if you put a college on something, generally you're not going to farm it. Joke's on him, I guess, or me. And basically what I have now is almost like a blank slate. So most of the carbon was completely stripped from the soil. Granted, these soils here in Woodland are not naturally super high in carbon unless you were, to predate colonialization when there were still tule marshes out here, but that's no longer the case. And soil carbon is super important. It holds in water, it holds in nutrients and releases them when the plants need them. It's just all around a really wonderful thing for soil, and it helps mitigate climate change. So since our soils are super low in carbon, what I've been doing is really intensively cover cropping. Like, you probably notice what you think are weeds in here. And some of those are wildflowers, but a lot of them are actually oats, peas, veg, that kind of deal. And they're pumping nitrogen and carbon back into the soil. On top of that, I've added so much compost, which sat out for a while. So it was going to be low in nitrogen, but really high in carbon. And the quantity that I dumped in was probably higher than the recommended amount. And me fully knowing that, but still wanting production, had to make a decision, which was how I was going to manage the nitrogen. Now, in the long term, when you're building up these stable nitrogen pools, these stable carbon pools, and these stable nutrient pools, over time, you don't really need to fertilize when it's managed appropriately. We are not there yet. So I dumped a 21% nitrogen content synthetic fertilizer in, along with a few organic amendments and a fuckload of compost and straw and cover crops. And the results have been good. Soil science did teach me something, even if I was a god-awful student. And, I don't spray. I don't treat for insects. I really never treat for weeds if there's crop in the ground that someone's going to eat soon. So you could argue that this is just a hybrid system. Another disadvantage to fertilizing with organic granular fertilizers is that nitrogen specifically within it is in an organic form. And I don't mean in the labeling of, OMRI certified whatever. It is nitrogen that is connected to carbons and hydrogens and is in a super complex form that bacteria need to use and break down as part of the microbial life process and respiration and all that really good stuff that your science teachers make you learn. So the organic nitrogen in soil is really difficult to measure in real time. It's really difficult to manage. And when you're getting it from sources that are not granular fertilizers, you almost never know what the actual percentage of the nitrogen is, which is pretty volatile and pretty quick to run off into the environment and lead to all kinds of issues for people and the planet. So in some ways, conventional fertilizer is good because I know exactly how much it needs. I know exactly how much I put in. And if I time it appropriately, I run very, very low risks of runoff, which is super important, especially with as many students and underserved community members are here. So I hope that was illuminating. Sorry to ramble. It's been a minute. If you have any questions, hit me up. Love you guys.